not actually a search and rescue dog. He is a parachute dog. But I'm just going to read you a bit from the beginning of the book where he helps his friend. At the start of the book, Gray's a German Shepherd stray puppy, and he lives with an older dog called Molly, who's something like a King Charles Spaniel cross, but has always been sort of like his mum, weaker and stronger, weaker but really protective of him. And as they're strays, they go every night to live in this shed, so they just go back to this old shed at the end of the day. At this point in the story, Gray is about 6 months old. So, usually, Gray paid very little attention to the high wailing sound of the air raid siren, but tonight was different. Tonight, the hackles along his back rose. Tonight, he was afraid. He got to his feet, but there wasn't time to run before the bomb fell. A deafening roar filled his ears, and the force of blast threw him across the shed. He lay still as the dusty air whirled around him. For a moment he was knocked out, but as soon as he came to, he crawled over to Molly, who lay unconscious on the ground. He whined and nuzzled his head against hers, but her eyes didn't open. Then he smelt a new smell, the smell of smoke. A spark from the burning houses had fallen on the shed, and now it began to smoulder. Gray whined again, and then barked at Molly, but still she didn't stir. In desperation, he barked again, and then he took hold of Molly's collar with his teeth and pulled. Although Molly was much smaller than he was, it was still almost impossible for him to drag her body across the uneven ground. Gray lost his grip, whined, then gripped her collar even more firmly in his teeth, and crouched low so he could pull her with every ounce of strength he had. The back wall of the shed had been completely blown away in the blast, and he dragged Molly out of it and across the ground, away from the flames that had now taken hold. Then he lay down beside her in the smoke and ash-filled air, panting and trembling. Molly was in a bad way. Her fur was coated in blood and her breathing was ragged. He licked his friend's face and whimpered. And what happened after that is, because Molly was registered with NARPAC, these people that are the search and rescue people, they were able to find where she'd come from before she was a search and rescue dog. So she gets to go home.